Alrighty, hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Today I'm thoroughly triggered and we're gonna talk about it. So today is November 5th, 2024, and Variety has just dropped a new article all about Warner Brothers and Harry Potter and the plan forward. And I gotta say, I'm not for it at all. So here is the article. It says Harry Potter 2.0. How Warner Brothers plans to keep the magic alive with a new HBO series, video games, and pricey merch. And I want to preface that the first part of this article is honestly fine and dandy. They're talking about the new Harry Potter baking show. And it actually does look quite awesome. It's called Wizards of Baking. It's going to be on Food Network and like HBO Max. And I gotta hand it, like, I'm down for this. This looks amazing. Like, they're full on making, like, desserts based on the Harry Potter world. And it looks fantastic. And I'm for it 100%. It looks awesome. It's a completely original idea. So I just want to mention that that's that. And you can obviously see here, it's the big bake-off. So, Harry Potter Wizards of Baking, which premieres on November 14th on Food Network and Max, like I just said. But then we're going to start to scroll down a little bit. Wizards of Baking, produced by Warner Horizon Television, is expected to arrive with little fanfare, but its debut kicks off a carefully orchestrated effort by Warner Brothers to launch a next wave of Harry Potter products, ranging from TV series to video games to theme parks to high-end merchandise and live experiences. But here's the thing. Everything they've said except for the TV show already exists. There are live experiences because they have like Harry Potter Vision and all that. They have the shops, they have the interactive stuff at the studio tours, they have the theme parks, they have tons of merch, especially since 2018. Like 2018, they seem to like revive like some type of contract, and all of a sudden, like all the Harry Potter merch was just bam out there. And I can give a perfect example of that. The last time they made a Harry Potter Lego set was in 2011, and there was barely any sets. There was a couple of them, and that was it. And then I guess they didn't have like some type of agreement for years on end until 2018. And ever since then, Lego has been producing like how many sets every single year since 2018? A lot. A lot of sets. So that's just one example of how I'm saying, like, since 2018, the merch has been blowing up. And honestly, in my personal opinion, I think it's too much. I think they're going way too out there with the merch. They are overdoing it. They are satirizing the market. A lot of things I feel like aren't going to be collectibles anymore, especially just because of financial ruin in the economy. That's a whole other thing, but it is something to consider. And honestly, a lot of it's becoming really cheap, tacky, and tasteless, and super expensive for the item, and the feel of the quality is just not there. So personally, I feel like a lot of stuff is going to decline. It's why I only really focus on like specific things, and if I really like it, I'm not going to go and buy some chibi thing just because it's Harry Potter, That's just, a couple notes there about the merch. We continue. The goal is ambitious. Warner Brothers needs to extend the franchise, born in 1997, with the first installment of J.K. Rowling's best-selling novel series, with fresh spins on the characters and the worlds that Potter fans know and love. Here's the thing, with fresh spins of the characters, I don't understand that, because it's supposed to be a perfect book adaptation, so it shouldn't be a fresh spin because it should just be an adaptation of the book. What do you mean by fresh spin? Is this some modern audience BS? Are you just saying that like a fresh spin as compared to the movies? Because there's a good argument that a lot of characters weren't portrayed correctly in the movies and a lot of the characterization was butchered. I'm just saying. What do they mean by that? I'm not gonna like jump the gun here, but it sounds like fresh spin. It sounds like some type of modern audience thing like on the characters. It's like, Anyway, let's move on. The studio's blueprint for revitalizing the Potter universe will culminate the biggest risk of all, the scripted Harry Potter TV series targeted for debut on HBO in 2026. Now, it's going to be late 2026, early 2027. Kicking off the campaign with Wizards of Baking is a hat tip to Warner Media and Discovery's beginnings. Those two giants came together in a $43 billion merger in 2022, precisely to mine new riches by marrying Warner Brothers' controlled properties with Discovery's strong lineup of lifestyle channels. Okay. The prospect of bringing a taste of Hogwarts into Food Network has been a dream of the channel leader, Betsy Ayala. When the merger happened, the Potter IP was first and foremost in my mind, she says. So I immediately called Dan Sachs at Warner Horizon and was like, what do you think about us doing Harry Potter together with food? And he was like, I was actually thinking the same thing. So he immediately hit the ground running. And to me, like I said again, I'm for this bake-off. That sounds like fun, it's original, it's unique. We've never done that before. Why not, right? Totally fine with it. As long as there's no type of like agenda in this and it's just solely people baking Harry Potter, like desserts and things, all for it. Awesome. As long as it's just pure fun, you know? Okay, then it says posted by the twins, blah, 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 blah. We can skip that. And now here we go for the show is a significant investment for Food Network. For starters, it's shot live in studios on the original movie sets, blah, 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 blah. We don't need to read this. This is, again, about the bake-off. Now, if you want to read about the bake-off, Google it or something, because I probably won't be covering it a whole lot since I won't be able to watch it. Now, here is where it gets interesting. In the years since, Warner Brothers has struggled with its Potter-adjacent Fantastic Beasts film series written by Rowling, and for the last film, regular Potter screenwriter Steve Kloves. Big budget titles released in 2016, 2018, and 2022 generated little heat at the global box office. More recently, Rowling herself has become an obstacle to the future of the franchise because of the author's anti-trans public statements. I mean, if you just believe in science, how is the anti-trans? But whatever. That's a whole other conversation, and I feel like this article is a bit slandering, but okay. Jude Law recently told Variety that it's unlikely more Fantastic Beasts movies will ever be made, and that's true, along with last week Eddie Redmayne said the same thing, basically saying, I think we're done with Newt Scamander, so yeah, we're probably done with it. But I really want to point out that the reason Fantastic Beasts did so badly was because of all the controversy around it and Warner Brothers making the absolute dumbest decisions with this movie. And I should say with this franchise, really. So first of all, we had the whole Ezra Miller stuff. Do you guys remember Ezra Miller? He played Credence. He was also in The Flash. He was the main character in Flash. Yeah, he totally went bananas. Like, horrible, horrible things about this man. And they still kept him. Then we had the whole Johnny Depp thing, right? The whole Johnny Depp scandal with Amber Heard. And J.K. Rowling was one of the first people to back Johnny Depp up. Like, what was it, in 2018, 2019, when they first started working on this stuff? Actually, no, even earlier than that, because 2018 Crimes of Grindelwald had already come out. So, like, she backed him up years ago before it was found out that Amber Heard was mostly in the wrong. Whatever. I digress. And then we actually have to talk about like the Fantastic Beasts plot and characters itself. There was far too many characters constantly being introduced. You didn't give them enough room to like flesh them out. Every single movie, like 4 or 5 new characters showed up. So by the end of it, you had all these characters who are very like one-dimensional, honestly. And I, for the most part, liked a good chunk of the characters, but I would like to know more about them. And I think, honestly, if you gave them more room to breathe, we would have had a better outcome. I feel like Fantastic Beasts would have been a show, not a movie, in my opinion. And not to mention that honestly the plot, especially like in the second and third one, the plot was just so disoriented and scattered, and it didn't flow. And there's so many criticism about Fantastic Beasts, and it's hard to like back this franchise up, because I'm like, well, you know, you have valid points there, and like McGonagall being younger than she actually is and older than she actually is, and like time travel, like questions, lots of questions. Anyway, so yeah. And again, as I said, the J.K. Rowling trans statements, it's like, can you guys chill for 2 seconds? But anyway, let's move on. But Warner Brothers was encouraged last year by the strong response from Potter fans to the new video game Hogwarts Legacy, which wound up being the top-selling game of 2023 and has crossed 30 million units sold as of last month. So yes, it was the top-selling video game, but let's be real, this video game was destined to be a success because everyone and their mother was talking about this game, right? So let's just take a step back and look at it from an unbiased point of view. You had the people on the left side of the political aisle arguing that this video game was anti-trans and was, not even joking, killing trans people, and we should all boycott it because J.K. Rowling is big, bad, mean. Then you have people on the other side of the aisle, on the right side, going, we're going to give out copies of this game. We're going to give out giveaways because it's pissing those people off. And anytime we piss those people off, it's a win for us. Then you have people in the middle who are like, I just want to play a really cool Harry Potter Wizarding World related video game. I don't actually care about all this political drama around it. I just want a good game. Now you can argue that it was a good game. That's totally in your opinion. Me personally, I thought it was a shit game. Just saying. We still had all the DEI stuff in this game that the people on the right were saying, yeah, we're going to fight the woke. And the people on the left won because there was a trans character who had like 2 minutes of star line. For what reason? This person added nothing to the plot, so it was solely in there for an agenda. And you can also argue that the plot makes 0 sense. 0. Okay, let me ask you a question here. The goblin turns into a big bad dragon at the end for the final boss. Can goblins turn into dragons? Is that a thing that they do in the Wizarding World? Because I, for the life of me, can't find this answer. Because guess what? It most likely cannot. And if you're going to argue saying it's the ancient magic that turned the goblin into a dragon, why didn't any other character turn into a dragon to fight the goblin? Huh? Why didn't our main character do that? Instead, we have all this ancient magic stuff, and the student starting off as a 5th year when it was never, ever, ever in the lore that a student could start as a 5th year. I even asked the Rolling Library on Twitter, saying, hey, has it ever been confirmed that J.K. Rowling said that a student can start off as a 5th year at Hogwarts? And the answer was no. She never ever mentioned that. So again, this stuff breaks lore, this stuff matters. I understand that video games are different and you gotta work the gameplay out to make it flow as a video game. But when you're starting off right at the bat breaking lore and having a very loosely filled plot with a lot of plot holes in it, it's like, are you really giving the fans a win? Is this really a win? Now, if you really want to know all my autistic deep dive thoughts into this video game, I'll post my review in the link below or pin it in the comments, whatever, because I did do like a deep dive onto it. My video is like 30 minutes long. And before you yell at me, I actually did give some positive things too, because I tried my very best to be unbiased here. But honestly, the cons just outweigh the pros. It's not a good game. It's like a generic RPG game with repetitive stuff over and over and over again. And again, too many characters in this game that no one gave a crap about. I'm just saying. And the one that everyone cared about was a minor who killed people. And now everyone's shipping him and drawing him in like smut behavior and stuff. And it's like, this kid's a kid. But anyway, I digress. Let's move on, because whatever. The Warner Brothers Games division also churned out Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, released in August, which is false. It was released in September of 2024, and a remastered version of LEGO Harry Potter collection of games. So as I said in a previous video, this LEGO Harry Potter is like a remaster of a remaster of a remaster. It's just for the first time ever on Steam combined into two, the two video games are combined into one. It's not like a brand new game. It's just a remaster for Steam for the first time in a million years. That's really it. And I want to point out that I've actually been trying to research Harry Potter Quidditch Champions and see how well this game has been doing. And I don't think it's done all that well. Every single thing that I look up shows its poor results. And if you think about it, when Hogwarts Legacy was released, how many times did Warner Brothers or everyone else post about how well this game was doing? And yet there's been not a peep about Quidditch Champions ever from anybody. And we can look it up right now. Let's just look at how many people are currently playing right now. 204 people are playing, and the peak is 6,574. Now again, I'm trying to always understand how Steam charts works and how all these statistics are found. And I guess it's pretty reliable unless you opt out. But at the same time, like, that's it. 204 people playing right now. That's pretty darn low. Because if you look at Hogwarts Legacy, let's just see how many people are currently playing that right now. 18,000 people are playing right now. You see the huge difference here in success? You know? You really can't, you can't argue these things. It has awarded licenses for multiple mobile games to be developed based on the Wizarding World, and yet they fail to mention that almost every single app or game has been shut down. So just the other day, was it yesterday, like the Wizarding World app is closed now? Hogwarts Mystery is the only game that's still going in America, and I don't know anyone who actually enjoys that game anymore. I gave up on it 4 years ago because it just broke lore. It was not fun. All you did was tap things, and then you had to wait for energy. Like, you literally lost energy talking to someone. I mean, relatable, but doesn't make sense. And now it says, and Warner Brothers Games is at work on a video game sequel to Hogwarts Legacy, which is a very big priority for Warner Brothers Discovery C-suite. Now, I understand that because Hogwarts Legacy obviously did so well, that they're going to focus on a sequel. It makes sense financially. Obviously, go where your money goes, right? Now here we go. It says, we have known for some time that fans are looking for more things in this world, and so we're spending a lot of time thinking about that, says David Haddad, president of Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. Our insights tell us that there are not huge distinctions between a younger version of a fan and an older version of a fan. They're just deep Harry Potter fans, and we try to build an authentic experiences to delight them. So I completely disagree with this statement. 100%. And you know why? I actually have it all written down when I was reading this, because like, oh yeah, okay. So first of all, the younger generation, they're not playing Hogwarts Legacy, or at least they shouldn't be, because Hogwarts Legacy is rated T for teen. Just saying. So why are children playing, why are you trying to like target children for a video game that is not actually targeted for them and not made for them? That's one thing. I also have noticed that since joining Instagram that there's a lot of like Harry Potter smut in the world. And I understand that smut has been always existing, especially on the Tumblr and the losers in the basements who love Tumblr and smut and everything. But now with TikTok, it's even worse. Like they're shipping characters and changing sexual orientations of characters to fit their like little headcanons and things. And like this is what the younger fans are doing. Like they're just changing everything because of TikTok and social media. And it's like, well, this isn't the same generation as ours. Let's be real. Like, and furthermore, the older generations are the one paying for all this stuff because no way is a kid going to be able to pay for any type of product or merch or anything because they don't have money. So again, the fact that you're not targeting adults for the most part is pretty silly. Sure, you're doing the bake-off, but the bake-off is for everybody too. Children can watch this. So I think doing this whole targeting is very detrimental. And I'll continue more with my points in a bit because I know they come back to it again. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Rowling is not involved in managing the franchise, but WBD executives keep her updated via her literary agent. If you're going to ever go beyond a canon conversation, we make sure that we're all comfortable with what we're doing, says Robert Oberschlepp, Warner Brothers Discovery Head of Global Consumer Products. So from my understanding from this and from other people on Twitter, this means that Rowling is not involved in the merchandise of the franchise. Like she's not going to go and put a stamp of her approval on a pin or a tie or a Funko or whatever it is. But anything canonical, she's in the conversation, which makes sense, but at the same time, is she though? Because like she get a stamp of approval of Cursed Child, and we all know how that went. Well, that's some glorified fan fiction that breaks lore, but whatever. And like Fantastic Beasts kind of breaks lore, and the best example is Professor McGonagall. Research that in case you're questioning me. Research it. And then we have, Haddad says the game team has been coordinating some of the big picture storytelling elements in the Hogwarts Legacy sequel with the storylines that will play out in the Harry Potter HBO series coming from the Warner Brothers television. What does that mean? That means that they are going to be tying in the storylines and the plot of Hogwarts Legacy 2 to the Harry Potter TV show. So, like, are they, like, rewriting the lore here? Because is this some type of prequel? Are they going to do, like, a whole Disney Star Wars thing with, like, the Acolyte where really Anakin wasn't the chosen one? It was two little girl twins born from, like, space wizard lesbians? Is that what we're doing? Like, is that how it's going to play out? Like, I'm not doing that whole comparison, but, like, that's what it sounds like to me. Like, they're going to rewrite the lore to match Harry Potter. And also, this is very fishy to me. Storylines that will play out in the Harry Potter HBO series coming from the Warner Brothers television. This sounds very, very, very bad. The show should focus on the 7 books and only the 7 books because those are the only source materials we have to work with for this show. Or like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them and Quidditch Through the Ages and Tales of Beedle the Bard. Those are the only 3 other books that are actually like source material, if you will. I will never consider Cursed Child source material. So for me to hear, oh, we're going to base the second storyline to tie in with the HBO show, sounds like they're changing it, which is complete bullshit to everything that they have said in the past, where they were like, no, we're going to keep this faithful adaptation. We're going to be able to do this really, really well. Then you also have the writer going, I never read Harry Potter. So it's like, okay. Personally, me, I would have loved it if they ever remade the Harry Potter show into like, or I should say, if they ever made the Harry Potter into a show, I would have wanted an anime style. I think that would have been the best way to go about this, not some live action TV show. Okay, so let's continue. It says, he knows that the success of Hogwarts Legacy helped stoke confidence that the time was right to make a major push. The rest of the company is very curious about what we helped to unlock with the Hogwarts Legacy last year. And again, I really have to reiterate that, did we really win? Like the Wizarding World fans, did we? We didn't, because we had people who were pushing the video game without ever playing the video game, but because it pissed off the people on the left. I'm calling out Yellow Flash here because he never bothered to play the video game. It pissed people off and he was like, yes, it's a win, but is it a real win? Is it? Just saying. Over in Warner Brothers Discovery Experience division, the Potter priority is Epic Universe, the long-gestating Universal theme park in Orlando, Florida. There's a schedule to open in May. A big chunk of the 750-acre site will be devoted with Potter-themed rides and experiences. Now, I'm actually very excited for this. I've seen a couple of things of it. It looks fantastic. If you watch some of my previous videos, you'll see what I'm talking about. It looks great. Got no complaints. Let's keep going, though. Epic Universe has been in the works for some time, since long before the current regime took over at Warner Brothers Discovery, but it's coming to fruition just in time to coincide with the larger Potter plan. These things take at least 5, 6, 7, 8 years, depending on the size and scope, says Peter Van Roden, WBD's executive VP of Global Themed Entertainment. Something like Epic is a massive undertaking, which is true because I've always wondered, since Fantastic Beasts died after 3 movies, even though it was supposed to be 5, that they couldn't go back and change their mind for Epic Universe, because Epic Universe was always supposed to have Fantastic Beasts inside of it. So I guess it was too late to stop the plans, and they calculated it'd be way too expensive, and so they just kind of went into it. Now they could also be them trying to garner more interest for Fantastic Beasts and maybe pick it up in a couple of years again as a TV show or a movie. That's also something to think about. Now, obviously, they're not going to tell anybody they're thinking about this based on all the actors saying, I know nothing about it. Or they're NDA to say, I know nothing about it. So who really knows? Not me. And it says, while millennials have and will likely always be the Potter demo, Van Roden says the franchise aims to target fans as young as age 5, with the sweet spot starting around 7 or 8, which makes honestly no sense here. In a way, like I understand because lots of people became Harry Potter fans at such a young age, me included, right? But if you're gonna go and tie in Hogwarts Legacy, which by the way, if you look at the Hogwarts Legacy website, you will see that I'm not lying here, rated teen. I don't really think that this is for the children to be playing around, so I don't understand why you are rating a T for teen video game to tie into a Harry Potter show that should be a sweet spot of age 5 to 8. And this I don't know, this doesn't make much sense to me. I'm not really for it, but let me know your opinions below. I understand that children obviously read the Harry Potter books at a young age. Like I said, I was one of them, but I don't think that they should be the target, especially with this new show. Or maybe they should be. I don't know. I have like mixed thoughts with this. Like it could be, I don't know, I got mixed thoughts with this, in all honesty. And you have to really remind yourself that it's ever evolving and nothing you're doing is ever going to live forever, he says. And you have to think about what's new and different in the trends that are happening. And then there's the merch, which ranges from baby clothes at H&M to $499 replica of the magical Mirror of Erised at the Pottery Barn. More such items are in the works. With the HBO adaptation on the horizon, Overschlepp thinks a new generation of Potterheads will be brought into the fold and the stores. And again, I make the point of, I think you're oversaturating the market 100%, and you are actually going to be losing some money here because I don't think people are going to be buying so many things. Just saying. Like I was saying, this sounds like a Disney Star Wars-esque type of rebranding of the IP. You are catering to a new audience, even though you have a very existing, very loyal fan base already. You're completely taking them out of the picture, and now you're going around saying, oh, we're going to go for the children instead because, they're new generation. But let's just look at Disney Star Wars, for example. Has that been a success? Disney Star Wars, because they completely changed their audience. They made it from a boy brand to a girl brand. They completely ignored the existing fan base to bring in new fan base, and now the old fan base wants nothing to do with the new fan base, who is dwindling away and are not actually fans. They do not buy the merch. You look at the sales, the merch is flopping. The hotel that they had closed down. The movies and the TV shows aren't doing all that well, all things considered. So again here, is this a smart play? Because it doesn't really sound like it. It just sounds like they're going to be like, we're going to repackage this and we're going to go to a new audience and we're going to have everything tie in together and it's all going to make sense. It's like, this isn't the play. This definitely is not the play. So let's just continue though. Inevitably, Warner Brothers will profit from fans who love the classic Harry Potter material as well as the new iterations. We'll see about that. The trajectory of another famous figure in the Warner Brothers vault offers an example. Oberschlepp says, The Dark Knight has remained a cool character for more than 75 years. How many different Batmans are there? And yet, your latest Batman in your Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League flopped. How many millions of dollars? Wasn't it $200 million? So I don't really think that's a great example. In time, he hopes fans will wind up asking one another, what Harry are you? Anyway, for now, fans will have to satisfy themselves with the Wizards of Baking. The participants have blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. And then it just goes on about the Wizards of Baking. But here's what really pisses me off, because there was a sentence saying that they want to expand. I want to go back to this this spot right here where it says, we have known for some time the fans are looking for more things in this world. And so we're spending a lot of time thinking about that. But here's my thing. You decide to go and make a remake of something that is already existing, is already beloved, and majority of the people really don't want a remake of it. Or if they do, they're like, all right, I mean, if it's bad, we still have the old ones to like. That's not the attitude you should have. It should be, this show is going to be amazing in its own. And I don't really see that right now. I see laziness and bankruptcy and lack of creativity, because you have this entire IP that you could expand upon. But instead of expanding all over the world for the Wizarding World, focusing on the most random places, Iceland, Jamaica, Germany. Heck, we barely were in America. Why not do something with Ilvermorny in Massachusetts, Japan, China, literally anywhere in the world? And instead of going out there and being creative and, you know, dipping your toe in the creativity water, you're just gonna go and redo the same thing that you know worked last time, hoping it's gonna work this time. But again, has that worked for anything that you've seen in the last 10 years in the media? Disney Star Wars is a perfect example. The episode 7 was a remake of episode 4. It's a perfect example. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League lost $200 million in a video game because they went out there. And let's be real, WB has not been doing all that well with all of their DC movies, have they? So again, I ask you, is this the right move? Is this the right play? No, I don't think so. Just saying, I think it's a terrible idea. And like, honestly, again, I really want to reiterate this. The fact that we're going to tie in the Hogwarts Legacy sequel that has so many plot holes, so many questions that need answering that just do not make sense to the lore, and we're going to tie it into the Harry Potter show, it just does not sound good. Explain to me how we have this giant plot hole of ancient magic that is never mentioned ever again in Harry Potter. Don't you think Dumbledore would be wanting that ancient magic? Or other people would be wanting the ancient magic? Instead, no. We have two villains, Grindelwald and Voldemort, and neither one of them ever went looking for this ancient magic to go and defeat their opponents. Like, let's just think about that from... Like, come on here, it makes no sense. Anyway, guys, this is my thoughts on this new Variety article. Like I said, I'm pretty negative towards this. And I'm trying not to be. I'm really trying not to be negative. But honestly, all these things are coming out. All these statements from people working at Warner Brothers, working on the Harry Potter show. It doesn't make sense, their decisions. And therefore, I don't know what to say. I think we're doomed. I think we're doomed here. This sounds very much like Disney Star Wars rebranding. And I'm afraid for it. I really am. Anyway, guys, let me know all your thoughts below. I know this was a long video and I'm sorry, but there it is. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, everybody.